Hello. I'm 16F, a younger sister to Laury, 26F. Me and Laury have never been close since we had different dads. I was an affair baby. She's always resented me for ruining her family, but whatever. Laury has 6 kids. Yes. 6. Twin boys Beck and Joe who are 7, planned, a girl Lilliana who is 6, unplanned, and another girl, Angel who is 5, planned. Another boy, Keith who's 2, planned, and another baby boy Karl who's 9 months, not planned. Despite the fact that Laury is incapable of taking care of these kids, 4 of them were actually planned. Because she knows my pushover mom will give her money and watch the kids. My mom even quit her job to do so, even turning her workroom into a nursery for Karl. We're pretty well off, but we can't do this forever. I try not to judge and just ignore Laury like she does me. Even though when my mom is busy doing something like changing a diaper I have to step in and help. Especially with the twins since they're very rough with each other. Tonight at dinner Laury's boyfriend joined, a father to just Karl, as well as Laury's father. This wasn't abnormal so I didn't think anything of it until my sister said she had some exciting news. I wished she'd say something else. But I knew what she was going to say. I'm pregnant she would say. Everyone went dead silent until I said bruh. I didn't mean to say it out loud, but come on. Laury gave me a death stare and said if I wanted to say something I should just say it. So I did. Laury, this is your. I take a moment to count, 6th child. You know we can't keep supporting you. Without mom, you'd be on the streets, and you know that. Look at mom, she's so tired. She's always taking care of your kids and so am I. I'd bet I've changed more diapers than you have, you selfish idiot. She began to cry. And ran out into her boyfriend's car, he followed her and drove. My mother then began to cry. She left to go out and Karl back to bed since he woke up. It was just me and Laury's father. He began to yell and told me that I was a brat and Laury was a great mother, then he stormed off. As I'm sitting here in the morning watching the boys, I'm thinking, was I too obnoxious? My mom says that a lot, I don't mean to be because of my autism but come on. Please give me some feedback. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If it were me, I completely stop helping watch kids, but I can't stand when people pawn their kids off on family members. It really pisses me off since it happened to me as a kid. My parents decided to have more kids when I was 10, 14, and then again when I was 17. Guess when I moved out? At 17. Not the idiot. I'm a mother to a 17F and 15F, and bruh is a common saying in my household. Good on you for calling her out and sticking up for your mother. It's not fair to these kids or your mother. I can't give credit because it was from a random Reddit comment, but misquote a wise random Redditor. It's a uterus, not a clown car. Not the idiot. You were blunt for sure, but at some point, crap needs to be said. She can't take care of her already present children, and bringing more of them into the world is completely insane, both for her, for your mom, and for you, who end up helping way too much for a 16 years old, and most importantly, for those kids. My sister, 20, got out of a terrible relationship and moved in with me and my husband and brought her 5-month-old son. She's dealing with a handful of issues from PPD to depression. I asked my husband if he'd be okay with her moving in, and he said absolutely, not just this, but he was the one who picked her up, brought her home. She stayed for 2 weeks and helped around the house. My husband started complaining about the baby crying, but a newborn is expected to cry especially at night. He said it causes him stress, although I suggested he put on earbuds. He suddenly told me to forget it and so I did. Last week, I had to go out of town to attend a friend's funeral without my husband. He said he wanted to stay with my sister to make sure she was okay. I returned home the next day and didn't find her or her baby at home. My husband said she contacted a friend in another town and wanted to move with them and left that morning. He handed me a letter he claimed was from her. This felt so odd. Especially after reading the letter, I called her phone many times, but turned out my husband found it and said she must have left it behind. I was worried I had no means of contacting her to make sure she was okay. I contacted relatives, but they knew nothing. Yesterday, I got a call from an unknown number, and it was her. We talked, and she told me that she didn't leave on her own, but my husband kicked her out after telling her that she was no longer welcome and she needed to take responsibility for her decisions. I was in shock as she explained that she was not with a friend but at a shelter and she has no money. I waited till he got home and I blew up at him. He admitted he faked the letter and hid her phone, Then argued that it's his house too, and he has a say, but he shouldn't have lied to me about my sister and causing her to be homeless. He said I was being unfair and wrong to lash out at him for wanting peace in his home. I went upstairs and refused to argue anymore. I told him I'm going to pick her up tomorrow, and he said he'd change the locks while I'm gone, and I won't be allowed to bring her home. I'm thinking of going to a hotel, but he kept saying that I'm letting my sister affect our lives by prioritizing her, but there's a baby involved, my nephew, and I can't leave him homeless. I get that it's his house too, but I don't see why he's so against her staying. Update. He returned home and we started arguing again. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm going to stay at a hotel for tonight. I'm leaving in an hour or so. He is wanting to talk again now, but I'm incredibly overwhelmed and stressed out and need some time by myself. I don't care if he's going to change the locks or not. I'm working on meeting up with my sister as soon as possible so we can talk more openly about what happened and hopefully try and figure something out. Not the idiot. He waited until you were out of town so that you couldn't object. So that you couldn't protect her, as he not only kicked her out but took her phone so she couldn't contact you. He is a dangerous man. He threw a woman and her newborn onto the street without a care in the world. Now, he's threatening to lock you out of your own house. You need to divorce him. Immediately. Not the idiot. He targeted a victim of an abusive relationship for further abuse. Very methodically. He timed his move for when her one advocate was out of town, and then he crafted multiple elaborate layers of deception to make sure you could not contact each other and get her out of yet another unsafe situation he'd forced her into. Now he wants OP to be homeless too. Like many spouses of abusive men, OP is probably grappling with the instinct to show far more consideration for his feelings and basic needs than he would ever show for hers. This man is not your family member. This man is a threat to both of them. Not the idiot. Divorce this man, oh my god. He went behind your back to do this to your loved one. He faked a letter. He hid her phone from you. This is completely out of proportion to anything that happened. This was unwarranted cruelty and a breach of trust. Go out of that relationship. He will absolutely repeat that behavior. I, 30F, have been with my husband Ted, 34M, for 4 years, and we got married 2 years ago. His family and I haven't really gotten along too well. They're rich and are all about image. I only see them on occasion, but that's when the drama is at its highest rate. Last Christmas Ted and I traveled to spend Christmas with them, and it was awkward for some reason. After we went back to the hotel, his mom sent me a list of all the things I'd done wrong at her house, like bringing the wrong types of desserts and wearing inappropriate clothes. I wore a blouse and leather jacket and not standing up when guests arrived. This year mother-in-law only sent an invitation to Ted to spend Christmas with family. He told me his mom didn't invite me because of my last year's negative points and would rather have just him there this year. I was flabbergasted. I asked if he was actually considering going after his mom excluding me, and he shrugged and said yes because he never spent Christmas away from family his entire life and isn't about to break the cycle now. He suggested I go out, invite Regina, my best friend, over or just plan my own celebration and said. But nothing too crazy. I was upset, but hey. If they don't want me then I shouldn't force it, and tried to not feel hurt and offended. Yesterday Ted came home asking if his bags were ready since it was time to go. I said I don't know and he was stunned. He freaked out saying I knew he was going to travel to his hometown and I should have packed his bags like I always do. I admit that packing his bags is what I do, but only when we're traveling together, and I figured since he was traveling on his own, then he should pack them himself. He lost it saying I just caused him to be late and ruined all the flight, hotel, other reservation arrangements he had just because I was bitter because I wasn't invited to the Christmas celebration with his family. We had a heated argument and he said, "Look, you're really overreacting right now because it's not like I'm going away on a vacation to another country to spend time with some strippers and whatnot, though I'm pretty certain you wouldn't be as half-pissed and agitated as you are now. I'm just going to spend time with my family and quite frankly, I don't know what it is with you anymore." Then proceeded to call me petty and say I got him in trouble and punished him by not packing his bags for him knowing he was going to travel. He packed his bags in a rush and ended up forgetting most of the gifts he got for his family. He's now not speaking to me. Am I the idiot? P.S. I found out that it's not just my mother-in-law, but father-in-law and Ted's brothers figured it would be best that I don't attend their Christmas and instead go to my own family, claiming they were giving me the options to decide, and also they claim they don't want to force me to be with them since we have some tension between us. Ted said this is all temporary until his family and I get used to and adapt to each other. Not the idiot. Change the locks while he is at his parents' and hire a divorce lawyer is what I would do if my wife did what your husband did. Maybe you can send him divorce papers along with his own list of negative points. Grown man unable to pack his own bags. Refusal to defend wife from an overbearing family. Actually agrees to the ridiculous invitation to spend holidays apart. Not the idiot. So let me get this straight, he is a grown-up man who threw a tantrum because he had to do something himself. He is so in the wrong. Not the idiot. And why are you with this guy again? He wants to spend Christmas with his family, but you're his family now. He doesn't defend you when his mother makes ridiculous demands and he should have. And he expects you to pack his bags like a good little housewife maid. It doesn't sound like he respects you or you are even a priority to him.